Hello and welcome once again to the Ferret Business Podcast. I'm your host, Yemmy the Ferret, aka Yemmy, and here today I have someone who recently has gotten over the 400 subscribers hurdle. He has an up-and-coming band, and he's got a lot of facial piercings. TwiggyTheTree, at TwiggyTheTree on Twitter, and of course, TwiggyTheTree on YouTube. Twiggy, how you doing, my dude?
I am doing fantastic. A little tired, but that comes with the profession, I guess. Staying up all night, recording videos, posting, all that fun stuff.
Also has to do with that big swirling ball we live on called the Earth, and how you are halfway across it from me.
We are 9 hours apart in the time difference, I believe.
That's pretty insane. Well, I'm glad that you could grab your cup of coffee and come join me for a fantastic adventure.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
So, I want to start out with the thing that I'm most interested to talk about, and that is your band, named First Revival. And you do the vocal work for that. Is it a big responsibility being a frontman for the band?
Ooh, yeah, well, I don't really know how to answer that one, since I'm not really doing all of the front band thingy. We kind of share that responsibility in between each and every one of us. I might be the lead singer, but that doesn't naturally make me the front man. I try to give everybody a nice bit of playing room on stage, just so everybody can get in the game.
Right, yeah.
It makes for a much more interesting stage performance, I guess.
Okay, understandable.
Yeah.
Not to toot your horn or anything, but I really do enjoy the songs you put out on your YouTube channel and the vibe of the band. It sounds a lot like you said. It sounds a lot like Motorhead with your vocals in there, and it's really good. I gotta say. Where did the name First Revival come from? Was that already a part of the band, or did you help make that name?
Because me and the rhythm guitarist, we had a band before this one. And that band didn't really... We had a lot of different opinions in that band, so... We kind of split from that, and about 3 months after that... Survival. The name, I think, came from the fact that we have both been in different bands before, and they haven't worked out that well.
Okay.
We've had a lot of, troubles and stuff and shite like that, so we decided this is First Revival, this is gonna be the band that we make it with, and so far we're doing pretty damn awesome.
Well, that's great to hear. So you're going to be going on tour soon in Europe, correct?
And that is the plan. We are working on said details.
Oh, okay.
It's still a little hush-hush, but yeah, there's going to be a tour.
Well, congratulations. That's a pretty big undertaking.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna play a few venues, but it'll be mostly fun, I hope. What's not gonna be so fun is driving across the entire freaking country, but, that comes with the job, I guess.
That, one thing I don't know about, and I know it's getting a little off topic. For us in the USA, we have to get passports to go to different countries. For Europe, is it a little bit different? Can you just kind of go across borders without using any type of pass, or is there something you need for each country?
Our ID cards are European stamped, which means that we can go anywhere in Europe with our ID cards instead of using an actual passport.
Oh, okay. So that makes it a lot easier to kind of go in between the countries there.
It's for easy travel, really.
Yeah. Hey, are there any plans to come into the great old US of A?
There are actually plans. There's nothing solid yet, but there is plans. I can tell that much at this point.
All right, well, cool, man. When that happens, I'll definitely ask you to come back on the podcast to promote if you want to.
That would be awesome. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, once you start touring, is it going to really affect your channel, or will you still be kind of having regular uploads, or maybe a giant storage of videos to kind of upload on set dates and times like you can do on YouTube or something like that?
probably not be doing the mastodon work of 2 videos a day. That will probably not work. So I'll probably create some kind of massive backlog and then like upload everything and put dates as to when it will become available. So I think I have to work. I haven't really worked that part out yet. I'm just gonna have a look at that once the dates get closer.
Right, yeah, that's a good idea though. That, you know, kind of keep content flowing on the channel while you're gone, or, you know, have the assumption of you being active on the channel when really you're off, you know, touring Europe.
I'm guessing I have to get like an iPad or something like that just to keep track of things.
Yeah,
you know,
probably
answer
something,
comments
yeah.
and stuff like that. Because I've tried. I was actually out working last summer for about 2 months, and I was trying to like do all the thingamajigs with my phone, and that was not a pleasant experience. So I am trying for something different this time.
I think a bigger screen will definitely help when it comes to keeping up with YouTube people.
That would be a good idea.
Now, one of the biggest regrets in my life was back when I was drumming for my old high school band, and, you know, a little self-promotion. The videos are on YouTube if you want to see the first gig, to anyone watching. We had this huge gig set up at a little place in Cleveland called the House of Blues, and it was for a battle of bands of sorts, and I opted out damn near the last second. To this day, I still have no reason why I did it, but all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, I really don't want to do it. So of course the band went on without me. They played the gig. They had a new drummer. They stunk. It was not good. And I regret that to this day. Like, it keeps me up at night sometimes. Is there anything in the music world or in the gaming world or in life in general that you regret kind of like that?
Not really per se. I wish I had started with all this. I mean, I'm 27 years old now, but I wish I'd started with all these shenanigans back when I was, I don't know, 15, 16. I think I might have had a longer, like, evolution curve. I don't really know what to call it, but it feels like if I had started earlier, I could have gone a lot further than I have now.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I don't really linger to my regrets. I kind of, shit, that was dumb. I didn't do that. I should have done it. Oh well, I can't change that now. Better work for something in the future then.
Yeah, that's pretty much my whole high school experience is that. But that it's that one thing that really sticks out, because that could have been like the gig on stage where we won the Battle of the Bands. But instead, I messed everything up. But I try not to simmer on it for too long. It's just one of those things that's like, I was really enjoying that band, and well, here I am today. So I guess it all worked out in the end. I'm talking to TwiggyTheTree. You know, how much better could life get? So, how did you get into the YouTube channel? I know you've been around for 3 years. Has it been the channel's been around?
Made the channel back in 2013, but I only got serious, like doing custom thumbnails, proper tagging, and kind of having a schedule, something like that, for about, I don't know, 8 months ago.
Oh, okay. So it's relatively new that you started doing that.
Yeah, I started doing this seriously, and it's when you take this shit serious. Because the first thing I ever uploaded was a BioShock Infinite. I uploaded that, and then I didn't do anything with the channel for, like, I don't know, up to 2016, middle there somewhere.
Yeah, I did notice that. I was actually going to ask you about that too, but hey, we're talking about it now. Perfect.
Yeah, so then I kind of got back into making YouTube videos, and said, okay, I'm uploading again, but there isn't really much happening. What am I supposed to do now? And then I did some research, started tinkering a little bit. I started working on tags and thumbnails and banner arts and stuff like that. And I noticed a quite significant change in both subs, views, and view time.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. It's really impressive how much you've grown over. I mean, you just said 8 months. That's pretty good.
Channel, yeah, I think that's pretty good. It feels kind of good. But yeah, I am hoping that I'll continue to grow. That feels like the main course of action. Just keep on trucking and growing.
Yeah. So, speaking of BioShock, I noticed that you haven't played the second game on the channel, and I was just wondering, why that is.
I'm going to play the second game, and I'm going to replay BioShock Infinite, because if anyone out there has ever seen my first video ever uploaded on my channel that is BioShock, you're gonna know that it's bad. I'm just gonna say that it's...
So you do have plans on doing BioShock 2, because I noticed that was the only one you didn't have on there, and I was like, is it just because you don't like it, or is it because, I really enjoyed BioShock 2 when I went through it.
It's gonna happen.
All right, well, cool. So, this question I was forced to ask by the question-bringing monkey. Have you ever met PewDiePie?
PewDiePie on 2 occasions.
Oh, really?
Guy. Once in Uppsala, and once I believe in some kind of games con thingamajig in Gothenburg.
Oh, okay. So you met him twice now. Wow. Now, has he been like a little bit of an inspiration to you, or where do you get your inspiration for YouTube from?
I've actually never been that inspired by PewDiePie. I mean, he does his thing and it's obviously working. I'm not really into that thing. My inspiration actually mostly comes from a British Let's Player going for 7-8 years now. Something like that.
Alright, that's cool. So, growing up in Sweden, people over here in the U.S., we think that Sweden is the land of milk and honey. Is it really all that, or do you have an inside scoop as to the real life of people from Sweden?
Land of milk and honey? I've never heard that. I've never ever heard anyone call Sweden the land of milk and honey. I would maybe call it the land of frozen yogurt and reindeers, maybe.
Yeah, it's common for people in the U.S. to be like, oh, that's Sweden. They're all rich over there, and they're living big. They got 12 what was that one article? It was like like 4-hour work days or something like that. I don't even know. I just know that people are obsessed with Sweden and
work days. Up here where I live very far up north in Sweden. Everything is basically frozen solid for 8 months of the year.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
It's very dark and very cold. Much going on other than, the occasional, oh no, there's a reindeer in town. We do have reindeers walking on the streets.
That kind of sounds like where I live. Alright, so we know you have a few facial piercings, but what about tattoos? Any tattoos on old TwiggyTheTree?
I think they're visible in some of my latest thumbnails. I currently have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tattoos.
Whew. Do you have a favorite one, or are they all kind of like equal?
They're kind of equal. I have one that is just pure silly, because when you get tattoos, you always have, no matter how many you get, you have to have one tattoo that is completely bonkers and really, really silly.
You mind describing it to us, or is it private?
No, that's not private. I have a camel tattooed on my left big toe.
A camel, you say? What was the inspiration behind that one?
It's my camel toe.
Oh, okay. I did that went over my head a little bit.
Quite a funny party thing. I can go in like, do you want to see my camel toe? And then I just, pull off my sock and like, It is so silly. It's just a really stupid tattoo. You gotta have at least one of them.
Yeah. I just have one tattoo right now, and it's the Batman logo with a quote from The Dark Knight. Nothing too special, but I thought I might as well get it for my 18th birthday or something like that.
Batman's kind of cool.
So right now on your channel, you've been uploading a lot of the third-person kind of choose-your-own-adventure type games. Did you recently get drawn into them, or have they been like on a list of games you wanted to play?
Oh, the list of games I want to play is really, really long, but I actually have always preferred the third-person kind of perspective when I'm playing games, because I kind of want to see my character at the same time as I can see like the closest environment.
Okay.
I feel more immersed that way. I know the first-person view is more immersive per se for most of people, but I've always liked the third-person view.
I play a good combination of first person and third person, like, you know, Mass Effect and Horizon Zero Dawn and all those games, and I do enjoy the odd third person game here or there. Speaking of third person games, Life is Strange, which is kind of wrapping up on the channel. Are there any do you plan on playing the prequel to that game, the Before the Storm?
Yes, I am going to play Before the Storm on the channel. That is why I'm avoiding streams and Let's Plays with that content, like, you know, the plague. Because I don't want any spoilers at all. You have to go into these games not knowing what you're in for, because that gives you a more genuine reaction to things that happen on the screen.
Yeah, you gotta go in with the blindfold on.
And that's right. Speaking of Life is Strange, that is perhaps one of the most I've played in a long time. There's very, very hard decisions to make, but I love the game, so...
What has been the hardest decision in Life is Strange for you to make so far?
There's like been a mix of them. Point where you have to rat out different people, but if pick one, I probably have to go with like, you know, help or do not help Chloe with assisted suicide.
Yeah, that one really got to me too.
Ooh, I have an opinion on this matter. This is a moral gray zone. I'm not gonna talk about this topic on my channel. I'm just gonna go with nope.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I that really threw me a curveball when you changed everything as as Max, and all of a sudden you open the door and the end of the episode is her in a wheelchair, and I was like, what? That was like the biggest surprise to me. I think they did a really good job with Life is Strange, and I haven't gotten all the way through the Before the Storm, but so far it's been a really fun experience.
Yeah, I've heard mixed opinions about Before the Storms. Some people say it's not as good as the first one. Others says that it's equally good.
Well, I guess it's for the person to find out, you know. Make your own opinions on it, right?
My intention, so that's why I'm avoiding any spoilers.
Right. So out of all the games you've played on your channel, what was the most fun one to record?
That is a hard question. I think that I'm gonna go with the Metro series.
Okay.
Metro 2033 and The Last Light. Because it's a game universe. I've read all the books. I've read some of the fan fiction too, and it's a universe that I'm really immersed in. So playing the games was really fun for me to do.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those games as well. Are you excited for I think it's called Metro Exodus coming out?
Doing that bad boy like a hawk. That's gonna be played on the channel the moment it hits.
Oh yeah.
Hits stores. I'm gonna buy it and play it. That's gonna be like the other game that I'm going to play upon release has only been hinted to be released this year, but it's probably not going to. But Metro Exodus is definitely gonna be played on release day.
Oh yeah, that's a day one purchase all the way. So you had a Dead Space streaming series. Are there any plans of bringing that back, or are you done with Dead Space?
No, I'm not done with Dead Space. It's just that I haven't had time to stream because there's a little bit of thingamajigs going on in my life right now. I'm doing a lot of designer arts and that kind of stuff. So I've been working with that. It hasn't really left me with much time to do other things that I want to do besides recording.
Okay, but it's a good distraction though, right? You know, it's not something that's bad.
Really enjoy the streams. It's really fun to actually stream. I don't stream that much, but when I do, I'm having a blast.
Yeah, it's always fun to interact with people, and it's live too. So they could be all the way in Texas, and you're interacting with them in live time. It's really cool how YouTube and the internet really has brought us all together as one big happy family. Or some not so much, I guess I would say.
It's both good or bad, as are most things. There's usually some good and some bad coming out of a thing.
Yeah. All right, so last question for you. Last question is, so I don't want to get political on here, but what do you think of the politics in America right now as an outsider in Sweden, looking into the news coverage of what's been happening in the United States? Do you have an opinion on it, or are you just trying to ignore it?
Ooh, okay. Well, that was the question out of the blue. I did not see that one coming, but yeah, I've been following some of the news from America, and there is some disturbing stuff that I've seen. Most recently, I think it's the whole Facebook thingamajig. That is the latest thing to come that I've kind of been looking into, and kind of tried to not look into too much because I would have trouble sleeping at night. Knowing how much they actually know about me and what they're doing with my private information.
Right.
That this is gonna blow up to be a pretty big storm.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. I think this is a pretty interesting podcast myself. I just want to thank you, Twiggy, for joining me for this one, all the way from Sweden, joining me on the podcast. I really want to thank you. Thank you over and over and over again. You're a really cool guy. Your channel is really, really growing really well. I'm glad to have you on.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here. It's been a fun time. I've been a long time since I did a podcast, and this feels like a good one to return to.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, if you want to find Twiggy on any of his social medias, he's at TwiggyTheTree on Twitter, and he has the same name on YouTube. Links will of course be down in the description. You can also check out his band, First Revival. Of course, that link will be down in the description as well. Twiggy, I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, and I hope to have you back on the stream sometime. So
I would be happy to be back. So yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say before our final goodbye?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. This has been really, really fun, and I'm really looking forward to do this again someday.
Oh, you're welcome, my dude. It's my pleasure, really. It's my honor. So, once again, thank you for listening to the podcast. And one more time, thank you, TwiggyTheTree, for coming on and answering my questions. I am Yemmy the Ferret, codename Yemmy, and thank you for watching the Ferret Business Podcast, and I hope to see you in the next episode.